Alex stepped off the shuttle, his boots echoing softly on the metal floor of the starport's main terminal. The air smelled faintly of ozone, roasted spices, and something metallic that he couldn't quite place. He squinted at the sign above the entrance. The Starship Cafe. A stop between stars. Steam hissed from a vent as a small robot scuttled past, carrying a tray of glowing drinks. The hub buzzed with beings of every imaginable shape and color, tall, short, slim, floating, or sporting multiple limbs. It was chaotic, bright, and alive. Alex felt a thrill run through him. This was exactly the place he wanted to be. He had traveled from his small colony world with nothing but a bag, a notebook full of sketches, and a relentless hope that he could find work here. Job opportunities were rare for humans this far from the core planets. Still, he had read stories, accounts of humans making a mark across the galaxy with nothing but courage and cleverness. He wanted to be one of those stories. As he approached the cafe, the door hissed open automatically, revealing a bustling interior. Patrons chatted in dozens of languages, some spoken and others transmitted as soft musical tones. A trio of aliens, each a different shade of green, balanced on floating platforms as they sipped iridescent drinks. Holographic menus rotated above the counters, showing dishes that seemed impossible, noodles that floated, soups that changed flavor with each sip, desserts that shimmered like starlight. Alex took a deep breath. He was nervous, yes, but excitement overtook fear. He stepped up to the counter, where a small drone scanned him briefly before whirring away. Behind the counter, a woman, part human, part alien, with luminous violet eyes and hair that seemed to ripple like liquid, looked him over. She wore a smart apron with the cafe's logo. Her gaze was sharp, but not unkind. "You're here for the job?" she asked in a tone that suggested she had asked this question 100 times today. "Yes," Alex said, trying to sound confident. "I heard you might be hiring." She raised an eyebrow. "We are. But the only role available right now is dishwasher." Alex blinked. He had imagined many scenarios during his journey here, but none of them included washing dishes for alien travelers. Still, he kept his voice steady. "Will you show me how?" The woman paused, clearly not expecting that answer. Then she chuckled, a sound like wind chimes. "You've got guts, I'll give you that. Most humans would have turned around already. I'm Zara." She held out a hand. "Follow me. Let's see what you've got." Alex shook her hand, feeling a spark of hope. He followed Zara through a narrow corridor that led to the back of the cafe. The sound of chatter and clinking dishes faded, replaced by a rhythmic hum of machinery and the faint scent of cleaning solution mixed with alien spices. Here, the real work began. "This," Zara said, gesturing around her, "is where the magic happens." Before him was a long counter with strange devices he didn't recognize, a high-speed dish scrubber that looked like a miniature spaceship, a water purifier that glowed faintly blue, and racks that hummed as they rotated plates in midair. Dishwashing isn't just cleaning, it's maintenance, it's safety, it's efficiency, and if you do it well, you'll learn a lot more than you think. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the words. He had wanted to work here, to explore, to be part of something bigger, and somehow, even as a dishwasher, he could. Zara handed him a pair of gloves that adjusted to his size and a small apron. "Let's start with the basics," she said. "Everything has a pattern. You follow the pattern, you keep the cafe running. Miss a beat and things can get messy." Alex bent over the first rack of dishes, a set of shimmering plates made from a translucent material. As he ran his hands over them, he noticed tiny energy conduits along the edges. Each plate seemed almost alive, vibrating faintly as if it were aware of the cleaning process. He followed Zara's instructions carefully. Rinse, align, engage the scrubber. The machine hummed to life, spinning the dishes gently in midair while jets of warm, purified water cleaned every surface. "This machine adapts to what it's cleaning," Zara explained. "Different materials, different energy signatures. Humans are slow to understand it, but you seem attentive." Alex smiled. "I pay attention. I like to understand how things work." "Good. You'll need that," she said, her eyes glinting. "Dishwashing isn't just about cleaning. It's about learning patterns, predicting needs, and reacting fast. You're going to be in the thick of it during peak hours. You ready for that?" He nodded. Inside, he felt a strange mix of pride and nervousness. This wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. Over the next hour, Zara guided him through the steps, loading the dish scrubber, sorting plates, checking the energy conduits, and understanding the cleaning cycles. Every time he hesitated, she would correct him, but always with a patient smile. Alex noticed subtle patterns in the kitchen, the way the utensils vibrated, the timing of the dish cycles, even the rhythm of the other staff moving around. Slowly, he began to anticipate what needed to be done next. "You're a fast learner," Zara said finally, as they watched a set of trays float off to the drying racks. "Most humans need weeks to get here. You might have a talent for this." Alex grinned. He felt a spark of pride. Talent or not, he was determined to prove himself. Just as he began to feel confident, a loud alarm sounded. The cafe's holographic menu flickered, and a siren-like hum filled the back room. Zara's eyes narrowed. "Galactic Traders, early shift, and they bring high-maintenance equipment. You'll see why I say dishwashing is never just dishwashing." A small group of aliens entered the back room, carrying strange containers. Some of them seemed fragile, glowing faintly. One of them floated toward the scrubber. Alex's hands shook slightly as he realized he would be responsible for keeping these delicate items safe. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. "Relax. Watch carefully. Follow the process. You've got this." The next half hour was a blur of energy pulses, humming machines and floating dishes. Alex moved quickly, washing, drying, and organizing. The other staff worked around him, some silently, some communicating in sounds that he could only barely understand. Yet somehow he kept pace. By the end of the rush, he was exhausted but exhilarated. Zara clapped him on the back. "Not bad for your first day. You survived the traders, didn't break a single container, and even caught a timing error in the scrubber's cycle." Alex laughed, feeling a deep satisfaction. "I never thought dishwashing could be this interesting." "Everything is interesting if you pay attention," Zara said, smiling. "And if you're willing to learn, you might just surprise yourself." As the rush ended, Alex looked around the back room, now quiet except for the hum of machines. Plates floated gently on the drying racks, trays glimmered in neat rows, and the smell of alien spices filled the air. For the first time since leaving his home planet, he felt like he belonged somewhere. He looked at Zara, who was wiping down the counter. "Thank you for showing me," he said quietly. Zara looked up, her eyes softening. "Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. But yes, I'll keep showing you if you're willing to keep learning." Alex nodded. He was willing, more than willing. As he cleaned the final tray of the night, he realized something important. Being a dishwasher wasn't a step down. It was a step in, a way to understand, adapt, and grow. And if humans were known for anything, it was for taking small opportunities and turning them into something extraordinary. He smiled to himself. Tomorrow he would return. He would learn more, see more, and maybe, just maybe, find a way to make a difference in this bustling, colorful, chaotic corner of the galaxy. Because if one thing was certain, Alex thought, as he watched the stars outside the cafe's window, it was this: humans don't just survive. Humans find a way to shine, no matter where they land. The morning light of the starport shimmered through the cafe windows as Alex arrived for his second day. His hands still smelled faintly of the cleaning solutions and alien spices from yesterday, but he felt alive with anticipation. Dishwashing might have sounded boring to most, but Alex had quickly realized there was more to it than scrubbing plates. Every dish, tray, and utensil seemed to carry a story, a purpose, a connection to something much larger than just cleaning. Zara was already at the back, inspecting the floating dish racks. When she saw Alex, she smiled. "You made it on time. Good. Punctuality is important here, not just for dishes, but for the entire cafe." "Morning," Alex said, adjusting his apron. "I'm ready to learn more." She nodded. "Good attitude. That's what keeps humans alive in this galaxy. Today, you'll see that dishwashing isn't just about washing. It's about understanding patterns, machinery, and even a little diplomacy." Alex frowned. "Diplomacy? Washing dishes?" "Watch and learn," she said, and gestured for him to follow. The back room of the cafe was buzzing with quiet energy. Machines hummed, dishes floated in midair, and small service drones zipped past carrying trays. Alex watched carefully as Zara showed him how to read the subtle vibrations of the plates. Some plates hummed faster than others, indicating different energy frequencies that required special handling. Others glowed faintly when a new kind of liquid had spilled onto them. "Every plate, every cup, even the trays have energy signatures," Zara explained. "If you ignore them, the cleaning machines might react incorrectly. You could damage them, or worse, cause a chain reaction with nearby equipment." Alex's eyes widened. "So, even dishwashing has risk?" "Exactly," Zara said. "And that's why humans are interesting. You notice details others might miss. Your species can adapt quickly, improvise, and see patterns. That's why I'm showing you this, and why you survived yesterday." Alex nodded, absorbing every word. He started to notice what he hadn't before. The way certain utensils aligned perfectly in the scrubber, the rhythm of the floating dishes, the soft pulses of light on the trays that indicated their energy levels. He began to anticipate movements before Zara instructed him, aligning dishes in the correct order and adjusting scrubber settings intuitively. "You're fast," Zara said, her voice carrying a note of surprise. "Most humans would take weeks to notice what you already see." "You pay attention. That's rare." A small round service drone rolled over, carrying a tray of silver glass bowls. The bowls floated slightly above the tray, glowing faintly. Alex carefully placed them in the scrubber, adjusting the energy settings to match their delicate frequency. The machine hummed, the bowls spun gently, and in moments, they emerged clean, perfectly aligned, and ready to return to the cafe. "Good," Zara said. "Now let's move on to something more advanced." She led him to a section of the kitchen filled with containers that pulsed with soft light. "These are exotic ingredients," she explained. "They need special care. If you mix them with the wrong utensils or wash them too aggressively, they could react unexpectedly. Humans often underestimate this, but it's easy to learn if you pay attention." Alex studied the containers carefully. Each one had tiny inscriptions, not in any language he recognized, but seemingly patterns of symbols that indicated energy levels, temperature, and flow. Zara handed him a thin metallic wand. "This detects stress in materials. You'll see if something is unstable." He waved it over a glowing container. It pulsed green, stable. Another container shimmered yellow, slightly unstable. Alex adjusted the scrubber settings, and the yellow container calmed, the color fading to green. Zara's eyes widened. "Well done," she said. "Most beings would panic or call for help. But you understand instinctively. That's human ingenuity." Alex felt a small thrill of pride. For the first time, he realized that his attention to detail, his willingness to learn, and his curiosity traits he had always taken for granted, were actually valuable. The cafe bell chimed, signaling the start of the morning rush. Patrons flowed in, carrying trays, drinks, and even small devices that needed cleaning. Alex moved swiftly, washing and sorting, adjusting the machines and making tiny corrections before problems could occur. Zara watched, occasionally guiding him with a word or a gesture, but mostly allowing him to navigate the chaos on his own. Halfway through the rush, an alien trader approached, carrying a set of delicate plates etched with a shimmering, crystalline pattern. The plates seemed to hum faintly as the trader set them on the counter. "These plates are very delicate," the trader said in a musical tone, his voice rising and falling like a song. "Do not damage them. They are from the high mountains of Krelthar, very rare." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He carefully scanned each plate with his new wand, adjusting the scrubber's frequency to match the energy signature. The plates glided through the machine, perfectly cleaned, without a scratch. The trader's eyes widened, clearly impressed. Zara leaned close and whispered, "See? Dishwashing is more than washing. It's trust, diplomacy, observation, and humans are good at it because you notice what others miss." Alex smiled. "I'm starting to see that." By the end of the rush, the cafe was spotless. Plates floated to their places, trays lined up perfectly, and even the machines hummed in rhythm. Alex was exhausted, but it was a satisfying exhaustion, the kind that came from learning, accomplishing, and understanding. As he took a short break, he observed the other staff quietly. Each one had their own specialty. Some optimized energy flows, others managed the floating trays, some communicated with patrons using nonverbal signals. And yet, all of it was connected. The cafe operated like a living organism, and dishwashing, he realized, was the heart of it. Zara approached, carrying a tray of steaming drinks. "You're learning faster than I expected," she said, handing him a glowing cup of luminescent tea. "Humans are strange. You start small, dishes, chores, and somehow you end up noticing patterns no one else sees. That's why you survive where others fail." Alex took a sip of the tea, savoring the sweet and slightly tangy flavor. "I never thought washing dishes could teach me so much." "Everything teaches you something," Zara said with a grin. "You just have to be willing to see it. Today you learned about machines, energy, and patience. Tomorrow we'll see about improvisation and problem-solving under pressure." Alex's heart raced. He wanted that. He wanted to prove himself, to grow, to become more than a human lost in the stars. Dishwashing was just the beginning. As the cafe quieted down for the afternoon, Alex walked to the window. Ships of all sizes drifted across the port, some small and nimble, others massive and glowing with engines that pulsed like living hearts. The universe outside was enormous, chaotic, and full of possibilities. He realized that, in a way, the Starship Cafe was a microcosm of the galaxy, diverse, vibrant, full of patterns and full of challenges, and humans, he thought, were capable of navigating it, of learning, adapting, and thriving. When the day ended, Zara handed Alex a small notebook. "Write what you learned today," she said. "It helps solidify knowledge. Also, it helps you notice things you might have missed." Alex opened the notebook and began writing. The hum of the machines, the colors of the dishes, the rhythms of the floating trays, the reactions of the patrons, the tiny details that made everything work. Each note felt like a piece of a puzzle, a step toward understanding something bigger than himself. As he packed up to leave, Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're doing well. Keep observing. Keep asking questions. Humans have a way of turning small tasks into greatness. Don't forget that." Alex nodded, stepping out into the starport evening. The lights of distant ships reflected in the glass windows. He felt a sense of purpose, a sense that even washing dishes could be a path to something extraordinary. Because if humans could learn from the smallest details, adapt to every situation, and remain curious no matter how strange the universe was, then there was no limit to what they could achieve. And Alex, a simple human dishwasher in a galaxy full of wonders, was ready to find out just how far he could go. Alex arrived at the Starship Cafe the next morning with a sense of quiet determination. After 2 days of learning the ropes, he had grown confident in his abilities. Dishwashing was no longer just a task. It was a gateway to understanding the cafe, the machines, and even the patterns of alien life that passed through its doors. Yet, as he stepped inside, he felt an unfamiliar tension in the air. Something was different. Zara was at the back of the kitchen, examining a row of glowing containers. Her normally confident expression was slightly tense. "Morning, Alex," she said. "We have a situation." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Situation?" She nodded toward a panel of lights above the dish scrubber. "The cafe's main energy regulator is acting up. We rely on it to power the machines, maintain the floating trays, and stabilize energy in the kitchen. If it fails, the back room could become chaotic. Very chaotic." Alex felt a thrill of anxiety mixed with excitement. This was different from just cleaning dishes. This was a real test. "What can I do to help?" he asked. Zara gave him a brief smile. "Observe first, then act, and stay calm. Humans often panic in front of problems like this. I'm counting on you not to." Alex nodded, moving to the panel. Lights blinked rapidly, some red, some yellow. A low hum filled the room, almost like the machinery was holding its breath. He noticed a pattern in the flickering lights, a rhythm that matched the pulse of the scrubbers and drying racks. His mind raced as he tried to connect the dots. "Look at the scrubbers," Zara said. "They're draining too much energy. If we don't redirect some flow, the regulator will overload." Alex's eyes darted to the machines. He remembered what he had learned about the energy signatures of dishes and trays. If he adjusted the scrubber cycles slightly, he could balance the load. He took a deep breath and did just that, rerouting power through auxiliary channels he had noticed but never used. The lights on the panel flickered, then stabilized. The low hum softened. Alex exhaled, a mixture of relief and pride rushing through him. "Not bad," Zara said. Her usual stern tone carried a hint of approval. "Most beings would have called maintenance and waited, but humans, you notice patterns others miss." Before Alex could respond, a loud alarm blared. A delivery drone had entered the kitchen carrying a shipment from a distant colony. The crates were larger than usual and some containers glowed ominously. The drone's guidance system had short-circuited in the regulator surge, and it wobbled dangerously above the scrubbers. Alex's heart raced. One wrong move and the fragile containers could be ruined. He remembered the lessons from yesterday. Observe, anticipate, and act with precision. He moved carefully, adjusting the drone's trajectory using a control panel he had noticed near the scrubber. The drone responded smoothly, and the crates landed safely on a reinforced tray. Zara's eyes widened. You actually did it. That's fast thinking." Alex grinned, though his hands still shook slightly from adrenaline. "I just followed the patterns I saw." "Patterns save lives here," Zara said simply. "Or at least prevent major disasters." She gestured toward a set of energy conduits that had begun to overheat. "And now, the next challenge." Alex approached the conduits, noting the faint blue glow that indicated a potential overload. He remembered the glowing plates from yesterday, the way their energy signatures adjusted under careful handling. Perhaps he could do the same here. Carefully, he adjusted the conduit's flow, redistributing energy to the smaller backup channels. The glow dimmed slightly, and the hum of the kitchen returned to its normal rhythm. A wave of satisfaction washed over him. Dishwashing had taught him observation, patience, and precision, but today, those lessons were being tested in ways he hadn't imagined. Most beings would have panicked, Zara said, now leaning against the counter with folded arms. They would have waited for someone else to fix it. Humans, somehow, you improvise. You adapt. And that is why you survive. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. It wasn't just pride, it was the realization that he could contribute in a meaningful way, even as a dishwasher. He wasn't just scrubbing plates, he was helping keep the cafe alive, keeping the energy balanced, and ensuring every patron's experience went smoothly. Just as he began to catch his breath, another challenge emerged. One of the floating trays, loaded with delicate alien drinks, began to tilt dangerously. If it fell, the drinks could spill and react with the energy fields, causing an unpredictable reaction. Alex's instincts kicked in. He quickly scanned the floating trays, noting the energy signature of the tilting tray. With careful precision, he activated the stabilization mechanism on the tray's base, correcting its tilt just in time. The drinks floated securely again, glimmering in the soft light of the cafe. Zara's eyes softened. "I didn't think anyone could manage all of that at once. You're impressive." Alex laughed softly, though his heart was still racing. "I just focus on one thing at a time." "That's the human way," Zara said. "Focus, adapt, improvise. Most species can't do that. They see problems and stop. Humans see problems and solve them." By mid-afternoon, the cafe had returned to normal. The lights on the regulator stabilized. The scrubbers hummed perfectly, and even the floating trays moved in smooth, precise rhythms. Alex was exhausted, but exhilarated. He had faced a real crisis, applied what he had learned, and succeeded. Zara approached him with a small device, glowing faintly. "Take this," she said. "It's a diagnostic tool. You can use it to monitor energy flow in machines and conduits. Consider it a reward and a responsibility. Humans who learn to observe patterns like this often become indispensable." Alex accepted it, feeling a deep sense of honor. He was a dishwasher, yes, but in this chaotic, bustling cafe, dishwashing was more than cleaning. It was understanding systems, protecting equipment, and learning to think ahead. As the day drew to a close, Alex cleaned the final set of dishes, his hands moving with practiced precision. He noticed subtle patterns in the water's flow, the shimmer of the plates, even the rhythm of the drying racks. Every motion had a purpose, and he had learned to see it. Zara watched quietly, a small smile on her face. "Tomorrow," she said, "you'll learn about collaboration. Machines are important, but so are people, and humans. You have a way of bringing out the best in others, even when they don't expect it." Alex nodded. He felt a quiet excitement. Dishwashing had seemed simple at first, but he now understood it was a doorway to mastery, of machines, of energy, and of life itself in the cafe. He had faced challenges, adapted, and succeeded, and tomorrow promised new lessons. As he stepped outside, looking at the vast starport beyond, Alex felt a surge of determination. Humans thrived where others failed, not because of strength or size, but because of curiosity, courage, and the ability to learn from every small detail. And Alex knew, deep in his heart, that he was just beginning to uncover what humans could truly do in a universe that was bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Because even as a dishwasher, Alex realized he was part of something extraordinary, a living, breathing cafe that connected species across the galaxy. And humans, he thought with a smile, had a way of turning even the smallest role into greatness. And that realization, that humans could make a difference wherever they were, no matter how small their position, filled him with hope, pride, and an unstoppable determination to keep learning, keep observing, and keep growing. The Starship Cafe buzzed with energy once again, though this time, the atmosphere was different. Patrons chatted in dozens of languages, drones floated gracefully across the room, and trays of exotic foods and drinks glimmered in the soft light. But Alex felt something new. He was no longer just a dishwasher learning the ropes. Today, he felt recognized, not by words alone, but by the way others in the cafe moved around him, trusting him, depending on him, and quietly watching as he worked. Zara greeted him at the backroom door. "You've handled the machines, the energy regulators, and delicate containers like a seasoned professional," she said. "The human's reputation for adaptability is spreading fast around the cafe. Today, some visitors specifically requested to meet you." Alex blinked. "Me? Why?" "Because," Zara replied with a sly smile, "humans have a way of turning ordinary situations into extraordinary outcomes. You fixed a near disaster yesterday, and word travels fast in the galaxy." Alex swallowed hard. He had never imagined anyone would notice a dishwasher. But as he followed Zara to the counter, he saw why she said this. A group of interstellar traders, merchants, and travelers waited patiently, looking curious and impressed. Among them was a tall alien with 6 arms, a shimmering turquoise complexion, and an array of small floating devices orbiting around him. "This," Zara said, "is why humans matter. You take small opportunities and make them count. Go on, introduce yourself." Alex took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Hello, I'm Alex. I handle the dishes here." His words sounded humble even to him, but he quickly added, "And, well, I also help keep the machines running." The 6-armed alien tilted his head, his devices buzzing softly. "I've heard about your skill, stabilizing the energy regulators, handling delicate containers, and still keeping the cafe smooth. Quite impressive for a single human." Alex felt a flush of pride. "Thank you. I just pay attention and try to notice patterns. That seems to help." The group of travelers murmured among themselves. One smaller alien, resembling a crystal formation, floated closer. "Patterns are important, yes," it said. "And humans, you notice them differently. We see your kind in stories, but seldom do we see you excel like this in real life." Alex smiled. He realized that humans' reputation wasn't just myth. They were known across the galaxy for ingenuity, adaptability, and persistence. And now, in this small cafe, he was experiencing it firsthand. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is the beginning. Today you're recognized. Tomorrow, you might be asked to teach, lead, or even pilot something bigger. Humans don't need to be the strongest or fastest. You make an impact because you think, adapt, and persist." The cafe bell chimed, signaling the start of a busy hour. Patrons surged in, many with delicate trays, rare ingredients, and glowing devices. Alex moved through the back room with practiced efficiency. He checked energy conduits, adjusted scrubber cycles, and carefully monitored the floating trays. The travelers watched in awe as he worked, noting how calmly he handled every challenge. A sudden alert sounded. A delivery drone carrying rare crystal bowls from the edge of the galaxy had begun to wobble in mid-air. Alex's instincts took over. He quickly accessed the stabilization controls, aligning the bowl's energy signatures with the scrubber's frequency. The bowls floated securely, perfectly balanced. The tall, 6-armed alien clapped, each arm moving independently. "Remarkable," he said. "We expected ordinary service. Instead, we see extraordinary skill. Humans, you truly adapt to chaos." Alex felt a thrill of satisfaction. This was more than recognition. It was understanding. He realized humans had a unique ability to observe, learn, and act, even in the most chaotic or unfamiliar situations. Dishwashing had been a humble start, but it had taught him precision, patience, and focus. Those lessons were now shining for all to see. During a quiet moment, Zara approached Alex. "You've done well," she said. "But there's more." Visitors like these often need guidance beyond the cafe, advice about the port, star routes, or even equipment. Humans have a way of connecting with others. If you can do that, you'll be invaluable here. Alex nodded. He had learned about machines, patterns, and energy, but now it was time to learn about people. Not just aliens, but travelers, traders, and beings of every type. The same observation skills he used on plates and machines could help him understand others. The turquoise alien approached him. "We need advice about a shipment," he said. "It contains delicate materials that must remain stable during long flights. Can you help us?" Alex considered the problem. Using what he had learned in the cafe, observing energy, adjusting flows, predicting instability, he devised a plan to stabilize the shipment during transit. He explained it clearly, using simple words, gestures, and even a small demonstration with floating trays. The group nodded in understanding, impressed not only by his solution, but by the clarity of his explanation. "You're more than a dishwasher," the turquoise alien said. "You have insight, adaptability, and leadership. We will tell others about this human, about Alex, who turns small roles into greatness." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. He hadn't expected this when he walked into the cafe. Dishwashing had been a doorway, and now he could see where it might lead: trust, respect, and recognition across the stars. Throughout the day, more visitors requested guidance. Some were traders needing assistance with rare items. Others were engineers curious about how the cafe balanced its energy so efficiently. Each time, Alex applied his observation skills, his understanding of patterns, and his calm approach to solve problems. With every successful interaction, he gained confidence, and more importantly, he realized that humans' true strength lay not in raw power, but in intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. By the evening, the cafe had become a hub for travelers wanting to meet the human who had quietly transformed the back room into a well-oiled machine. Patrons, traders, and engineers mingled, sharing stories of Alex's calm solutions, clever improvisations, and uncanny ability to notice patterns. Zara watched all this from the back, a proud smile on her face. "You see, Alex," she said, "humans make a difference not by dominating, but by observing, learning, and adapting. You've proven that even in a small role, greatness is possible." Alex looked around, seeing the buzz of excitement, the trust of visitors, and the admiration in the eyes of his peers. He realized that being recognized wasn't about ego or fame. It was about contribution, about making things work, about improving the world around him, and humans, he thought, had a natural gift for that. As the cafe quieted for the night, Alex cleaned the last dishes, reflecting on the day. He thought about the glowing bowls, the humming machines, the delicate trays, and the grateful travelers. Each moment had reinforced something he had always believed. Humans could take even small opportunities and make them extraordinary. Zara approached once more. "Tomorrow," she said, "you'll start training others. Machines are important, patterns are important, but humans can teach humans, and sometimes other species, better than any manual or machine." Alex nodded. He felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. The journey from dishwasher to problem solver, observer, and now mentor had been rapid, but each step had built upon the lessons before. He understood that human ingenuity, persistence, and adaptability weren't just stories told across the stars. They were real, and he was living proof. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, looking at ships glimmering under the starport lights, he felt a sense of purpose stronger than ever. Humans didn't just survive. They noticed, adapted, solved, and improved. And one human, standing in a small cafe at the edge of the galaxy, could make a difference that travelers, engineers, and aliens would remember for a long time. And so, Alex smiled, ready for the next step, sharing what he had learned, training others, and continuing to prove that humans could shine anywhere, even starting with a simple role as a dishwasher. Because humans, he knew, had a way of turning small beginnings into extraordinary stories across the stars. The Starship Cafe hummed quietly under the soft glow of evening lights. Patrons were slowly leaving, drones floated back to their charging stations, and trays glimmered neatly in the racks. Alex wiped his hands on his apron, feeling the satisfaction of another long day. But unlike the early days, this time he was not just a dishwasher. He had become an integral part of the cafe, trusted by both machines and visitors alike. Zara approached him, her expression a mix of pride and amusement. "You've done more than I expected, Alex. You've turned what many would call a small role into something important. You've stabilized machines, helped travelers, and even trained others in basic procedures." Alex shrugged modestly. "I just paid attention and did what needed to be done." "That's the human way," Zara said. "Observe, adapt, and act. Most species don't think this way. That's why humans leave a mark wherever they go." Alex looked around the kitchen, noticing the subtle details he had learned to observe: the hum of the scrubbers, the gentle glow of the trays, the rhythmic flow of floating dishes. Each motion had a purpose, each pattern mattered. And he realized that all of this, the machines, the dishes, the energy flows, mirrored something bigger, the universe itself. As he reflected, a group of young humans visiting the starport approached the cafe. They were curious and wide-eyed, just as he had been when he first arrived. They peered into the back room, mesmerized by the floating dishes and humming machines. One of them, a young girl with bright hair, whispered, "Are those dishes floating?" Alex smiled. He remembered feeling the same awe when he first entered. "Yes," he said gently. "But it's more than that. Every dish, every tray, every machine has a pattern, and if you pay attention, you can understand it, and even help it work better." The girl's eyes widened. "Really?" "Really," Alex said. "Humans have a way of noticing things others might miss. That's how we make a difference." Zara observed quietly, clearly pleased. "You're inspiring the next generation, Alex. Humans have a reputation across the galaxy, and you're proving why." As the night deepened, Alex reflected on his journey. He had started as a human lost in the galaxy, hoping for any job. A dishwasher. It had seemed ordinary, even insignificant. But in the cafe, he had discovered that no role was truly small. By observing patterns, understanding energy, and remaining calm under pressure, he had not only helped the cafe survive crises, but also gained recognition across the starport. He remembered the first day vividly. Stepping into the chaotic cafe, nervous and unsure, greeted by Zara's firm yet kind instruction. "Will you show me how?" he had asked. Those simple words had opened a door, not just to a job, but to an opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute in ways he had never imagined. Now, the cafe had visitors from across the galaxy seeking advice, insight, and guidance. Alex had helped stabilize energy systems, assisted in handling fragile shipments, and even explained processes to curious engineers and traders. Humans were known for their adaptability, and here, in this small corner of the universe, Alex was living proof of that truth. As he organized the last of the trays, a small alarm chimed softly. A shipment from a distant planet had arrived, carrying glowing containers with delicate energy signatures. Without hesitation, Alex scanned the crates, noting the subtle pulses of energy. He adjusted the scrubber cycles and auxiliary channels to ensure the containers would remain stable. Zara approached him, impressed. You see, Alex? Humans turn observation into action. You don't just react. You plan, you adapt, and you execute. That's why you shine where others struggle. Alex smiled. He felt a deep sense of pride, but also humility. He wasn't the only human in the universe, but he understood now what made humans special. They didn't just survive. They noticed, learned, and improved the world around them. Small steps, careful observation, and consistent effort could turn any ordinary task into something extraordinary. As he finished, the cafe quieted completely. The patrons had left, the drones rested, and the machines hummed in gentle rhythm. Alex stepped to the window, looking out at the starport. Ships of all sizes drifted across the sky, some glowing faintly with energy, others carrying travelers from far-off worlds. He realized that the cafe, with its floating trays, humming scrubbers, and complex patterns, was a reflection of the universe itself. Vast, chaotic, full of energy, and full of opportunity. And humans, he thought, had a unique gift to navigate it. Zara joined him at the window. You've come far, she said softly. From dishwasher to problem solver to a guide and inspiration. Humans have a way of turning challenges into triumphs. You're proof of that. Alex nodded. I never expected dishwashing to teach me so much. Everything teaches you something, Zara replied. The universe is full of lessons. You just have to observe, adapt, and act. And humans, well, you do it naturally. Alex reflected on all he had learned: patience, observation, improvisation, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. But most importantly, he had learned the value of small actions. A tray of dishes, a carefully adjusted scrubber, a stabilizing hand on a wobbling tray. Each small act mattered. And together, they created a ripple effect, influencing the cafe, the visitors, and even the reputation of humans across the starport. He thought of the young humans visiting earlier. They were curious, eager, and ready to explore. Alex realized that humans had a way of inspiring one another, of teaching through example, observation, and quiet action. The cafe had become more than a place to eat. It was a hub of learning, connection, and human ingenuity. As night deepened, Alex prepared to leave, but Zara stopped him. Before you go, one more thing, she said. She handed him a small, glowing device. This is a portable diagnostic tool. It will help you monitor energy systems, patterns, and flows wherever you go. Consider it a symbol of what you've learned, and a reminder that humans leave a mark wherever they act wisely. Alex accepted it with a smile. Thank you. I'll use it well. Walking out into the starport night, Alex looked up at the stars. Ships of all shapes and sizes glimmered in the distance, engines pulsing with energy. He felt a thrill of possibility. Humans, he realized, were never limited by their beginnings. Even as a dishwasher, he had learned to observe, adapt, and make a difference. The universe was vast and unpredictable, but humans had the tools to navigate it: curiosity, ingenuity, patience, and persistence. He thought of the future: more challenges, more opportunities, more chances to learn. The Starship Cafe was just the beginning. Beyond this port, countless worlds awaited, full of strange machines, delicate creatures, and puzzles to solve. And humans, he knew, had the capacity to thrive wherever they landed. Alex's mind raced with possibilities. Perhaps tomorrow he would train more crew members. Perhaps he would assist with interstellar shipments. Perhaps he would even design his own methods for handling energy and delicate materials. The future was not certain, but it was full of opportunity, and humans were uniquely prepared to seize it. As he stepped onto the shuttle platform, he looked back at the cafe, softly humming with life. The machines, the trays, the humming energy conduits. All of it was a reminder that small roles could have enormous impact, and humans, by noticing, learning, and acting, could turn even the simplest beginning into something extraordinary. Alex smiled to himself. It all started with a simple question, he thought. Will you show me how? Those words had opened a door to learning, growth, and discovery. And now, standing at the edge of the universe, he understood the truth. Humans had a way of shining, not by taking what was given, but by seeing possibilities where others saw ordinary tasks. The shuttle's engines hummed as it prepared to launch, and Alex felt a surge of excitement. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new patterns to observe, and new opportunities to adapt and act. But tonight, he was content to reflect on the journey so far. From dishwasher to problem solver, to a trusted guide and inspiration, Alex had learned the value of patience, observation, and action. He had seen the impact of small acts on larger systems. He had experienced recognition, trust, and respect. Not through force, but through intelligence, diligence, and the human ability to adapt. And in that moment, Alex knew something profound. Humans were meant to explore, to learn, and to leave a mark on the universe. Even in the smallest of roles, greatness was possible. As the shuttle lifted off, heading toward distant worlds, Alex looked out at the stars, feeling both humbled and exhilarated. He was a human in a vast galaxy, ready to observe, adapt, and make a difference, wherever life might take him next. Because humans, he realized, didn't just survive. Humans thrived, humans noticed, humans adapted, and humans always found a way to shine. And with that thought, Alex leaned back in his seat, ready for the adventures awaiting him in the endless expanse of the stars.